the Braves, and a save there, and they score! So here's Lassiter with a shot, and he scores! And he drives it in, walking in, he shoots and scores! Mustangs draw first blood. Teresi hits a shot, and he scores! 4-4. Lachlan going to the net, shoots, and he scores! And towards Cox, Cox gets the shot away, Davis makes the save. No, it's in! It's in! Perth takes the lead!
Live from O'Brien Group Arena in Melbourne, this is AIHL TV. The regular season is brought to you by Air Canada, who offer the only daily and non-stop service to Vancouver. For details, visit aircanada.com.au. Owners are a direct infrastructure investor with a portfolio worth in excess of $50 billion. ATC Productions, your live event technical provider. And APA Group, delivering Australia's energy.
So, O'Brien Group Arena is the venue for today's game. The Melbourne Eyes v the Perth Thunder. For the Thunder, this is a critical game in terms of their hopes for the finals after losing to the Mustangs yesterday. They sit in fourth at the moment, but their form has been crashed up for Melbourne Eyes. Well, it's about pride after a pretty embarrassing 7-0 loss to the Mustangs on Friday night, eliminated any hope of they felt the reigning champs making the finals. So they really are playing for pride, and hopefully we'll see the kids play. My name's Michael Clough, and I'm joined in coverage today backed by unpopular demand, James Morgan, in special comments.
That's a very good afternoon to you, Michael, and special comments indeed. Boy, oh boy, I can tell you I came here today to see a high-intensity, hard-fought game of hockey that will come right down to the wire. And now that the Ginsberg tournament's out of the way, we're going to turn our attention to today's Perth Thunder Melbourne Eyes clash, which I am hoping is nothing like what we all sat and endured on Friday night. That was
terrible.
Well, look, it was good for half of the arena, I can tell you.
Good for the orange half.
Well, and to be honest, I think even some of them probably didn't think it was money well spent to come to see. But look, you know, winners are grinners. But let's take a look at the AIHL ladder for the middle of week 17.
Yeah, so this is how things are getting really interesting. So the CBA Brave, they clinched their spot and they've cemented the top spot in the minor premiership long ago. Sydney Bears are now clinched second place as well. Perth Thunder, well, the Mustangs actually leapfrogged them into third. Perth Thunder fourth. So they're only a point behind. You've got Newcastle went up to fifth with their win over Adelaide yesterday. Sydney Ice Dogs currently on 35 points. So it's actually shaping up. Melbourne Knights 29. They're out of the running, and Adrenaline well and truly out of the running. We're never really in calculations. But you've got 4 teams now playing for 2 spots. It's advantage to the Mustangs at the moment, sitting on 29 points. Thunder, if they win today, will leapfrog the Melbourne Mustangs, take third place. But the Melbourne Mustangs and the Perth Thunder at this stage should remain in the top 4 going into the final weekend of the season. And
Michael, who would have thought we would be sitting here, you know, the Sunday before the final weekend of the regular season, saying that the Mustangs look like they are, you know, sitting as contenders for the Final 4. I'll be honest.
2 weeks ago, that would have been laughable.
I had written off the Mustangs. Yeah, well, look, a month ago, absolutely. I must admit, I'd written them off, and I think it's testament to the club where, you know, just when you think that they're down and out of it. I mean, you look at the year that the Mustangs won the Cup. I mean, they played some fantastic hockey all year, but did they look like they were a standout performer that was a shoo-in for a Cup that year?
No, and the thing is, not only do they look like they're going to make the final, the way they've played the past 2 games, and particularly I thought last night against the Perth Thunder, they play like that, they can win the Cup.
Oh, you pull out a first period like what they showed against the Thunder, which we appreciate that most people won't have seen yet. It is our AIHL.
Believe me, watch it on Fox Sports. Oh, it was good.
Absolutely.
They were good.
Absolutely. They were real good. And I tell you, any team that looks like they are a contender for finals would probably do pretty well to take a look at that game just quietly. That will screen.
But even the way the Mustangs shut
Sports.
the game out, the third period, they decided to close the game down.
Oh, and they really
did it very well. That's one of the things I really liked their performance yesterday, is that not only did they blitz the opposition early, they then shut the game down.
Well, and actually just on that, so if we could get a look at the ladder again, please, Daniel. So I guess if you're not really familiar with how playoff calculations work here in the AIHL, just a moment while we die of old age, while I wait for Dan to get around to that, and there he is. So,
and look at the fact that it's incorrect, you know. Just look at the points as
well, yeah, look, let's not look too hard at it. But tell you what, I guess what we're looking at here is, so people asked me yesterday, why would the Mustangs have started shutting that game down late? And those would be people that were fairly new to our game. So realistically, you've got to look at the way that playoff calculations are done. So we take the top 4 and obviously the first thing that we look at is points. After that, then we need to come down to tiebreakers, and we use the AIHF method for tiebreaking. Now, my recollection of the AIHF method comes down to head-to-head matchups on points. So you've actually got to start looking at individual bracketing for team v team. So I guess the bottom line of that thesis is that we don't play for percentage in the AIHL in the way that you would in something like, say, the AFL. So there really is no point a team like the Mustangs going out and, you know, trying to absolutely belt the living crap out of Melbourne Ice in that third period when they started to shut the game down. And the same thing with the Thunder. Realistically, that was a pretty confident, smart decision out of the Mustangs, because that's just not something that's going to help them.
Don't risk an injury or a suspension to shut the game down.
Exactly right, exactly right. Well, that'll do for the ladder. Thank you very much, Dan. So I guess what are we looking at here today, Michael? What do you expect to see out of the Melbourne Ice? Their season's over. They know it's over. You know, I would say they've probably done a little bit of soul searching since Friday night, or at least you'd bloody hope so. I mean, what do you think the strategy is here today?
Got to play the kids. I really expect to see Nathan Pachi play plenty of ice time. I've got Christian Pansino. I hope he gets plenty of ice time. Probably Sam Hoddick, who's been pretty good this year. And dare I say Declan Bronte getting a lot of ice time, although he has this year, but seems to be when the pressure's on, he usually gets benched. Kachia certainly does. They've got to play plenty of time in these ones. I would have even played, I don't know the available, like Mitch Manolo, but I would have played him today if he was available, because I just want to know exactly where these kids sit.
Well, and look, I guess don't leave me just at Cluffy's mercy in here, by the way, guys. As you can tell, I'm certainly no hockey expert. What I actually want to do is hear from you, the viewers. So you can get your tweets on our broadcast today using the hashtag AIHL Game Day on Twitter. We'll be reading out plenty of those and discussing what you've got to say. Please, by all means, disagree with Cluffy, because that provides excellent fodder for me. And now let's talk Perth Thunder. I mean, these guys are, you know, I think it's fair to say, are looking pretty good for the finals race. They've been a bit of a dark horse, really. I mean, you know, nobody's talked about the Thunder as, oh, yeah, you've really got to watch out for these guys. But then again, looking at the Thunder's run of form, I mean, they're coming off a 4-game losing streak in today. You know, in the last month, they've won 2 out of 7 games, a 28.5% winning percentage there. So lose the last 4. Game before that, they shut out the Ice Dogs. The game before that, they went down to the Adrenaline in a split points weekend. I mean, that's a pretty scary run of form if you're the Perth Thunder coming towards finals.
Probably the only thing it's masked that a bit is how spectacularly the North Stars and the Sydney Ice Dogs have fallen in a massive heap.
Well, yeah.
That's opened the door for the Mustangs. As good as the Mustangs have been, they've been helped by the 3 of the teams above them shooting themselves in the foot for the past month.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, and I mean, if we look at that run of form there for the Thunder, so it was what, the Mustangs yesterday. They had the Bears before that, the Bears before that, and the Bears before that. So really, of the 4 that they've lost, 3 of those have been to the Bears. And as we have already talked about, the Bears have been a really great team this year. In fact, they've been the surprise package of the season. A lot of people tipping them to finish last. So probably being, you know, a bit unfair to Thunder by you know, pointing out the losers. You've still got to win these matches. At this point in the season, they just can't afford a losing streak. The player I think they've missed over the past month or so, while their form hasn't been good, is number 22, Landon Oslansky, who's back in the lineup this weekend. Last night, he actually became, when Perth started to get back game, he became a critical player. It was a bit slow to start off with, but I think you can excuse him a bit, considering the past week he's come from North America to Perth, so he probably would have gone North America, maybe Brisbane, Perth, and then back to Melbourne. That is a lot of miles, and that is a perfect example of how you get jet lag as well. Well, and that's the other one. I mean, you've got to remember you're stepping off a pretty long plane ride, you know, when you're coming over from Perth. For those that aren't aware,
it's a long-haul flight.
That's, well, it can be 3 hours, it can be as long as 5 hours. It really depends on which way the wind is blowing, I guess. But that's a really long time, because, I mean, you're not just talking about the time you're sitting crammed into a plane. You know, the fact of the matter is you're getting up early, and I mean, you've got the Thunder that are 2 hours behind Melbourne time. So you're getting up real early your time. You know, you're going to turn up at the airport an hour before your flight. You're going to sit on a plane for all that time. You know, it's tough. It really takes a toll on the body. We'll go now to centre ice for our pre-game ceremony.
Thank you very much, Stuart. Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding and remove your hats for the singing of the national anthem. Performing the anthem today is Kelly DePozo.
Australians, oh let us rejoice, for we are young and free, with golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is good by sea, our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty rich and rare. In history's page let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strength then let us sing. Advance Australia fair.
And that's the end of the pre-game ceremonies here at O'Brien Group Arena.
And a critical game for the Perth Thunder, I mentioned earlier. It's a must-win. They can't afford to drop this one. Potentially at risk, I think, of dropping out of the top 4, depending on how other results go. But we've got the Brave taking on the AIHL, and that game's going to be up in Sydney, so it was a home-and-home affair between those two sides over this weekend.
Cluffy, it feels like you can look at somebody the wrong way at the moment as these teams and find yourself out of the top 4. It is probably one of the strangest run-ins to a final series I think I've ever seen in all the time I've been involved.
It could well come down to the last day. Mustangs and AIHL play each other, so that it really could come down, positions could come down to the last afternoon of the season. Newcastle and Perth take on each other as well in a doubleheader next weekend, which is going to be huge.
And it's a special hello to the Perth Thunder crew that are, I can see there just in the background of the shot, hanging out behind the net. Well done to the Thunder fans for making their way across the Nullarbor.
Yeah, there's quite a few that do turn up. And you mentioned earlier, it's a long-haul flight and it ain't cheap. So between flights and accommodation, those Perth fans who have travelled over, that's full credit to them. And even the finals, I tend to find there's a lot of, you see a very good, strong Perth contingent that do travel over. Unfortunately, every time they've travelled over, it's been a disappointing weekend for them.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, and let's take a look at Perth and Melbourne Ice this year as a head-to-head matchup. So the Thunder with one win over the Ice, a shootout loss and a shootout win. But bear in mind, I guess the shootout wins and losses came pretty early in the season, actually probably before Melbourne Ice was at full strength from World Championships. And I use the term full strength loosely because it
seems actually really better without it, to be frank.
Well, you know, when you look at that type of talent, you're pretty hard-pressed to be able to say they're better off without them, mate.
But certainly performed better than...
Look, yeah, and that's right. I guess, you know, when things aren't going your way, they're not going your way.
So opening face-off, and it's won by the Perth Thunder. Punleg. Now Zlansky. It's out towards Bro. This is a nice setup out towards McMahon. Gets the shot away. Jaden Pye Murphy starting the net for the Melbourne Ice again tonight. He made the save. A chance to redeem himself from last Friday's pretty disastrous result in the first period. Now it's going to be a foot race to Salvo for the Thunder. Now Green Maison, neutral zone. Zlansky just weaves his way through. Takes the blue line. So he's going to shot away. And that shot's a bullet, but Pine Murphy makes the save. Green Maison with time and space. Shot that was blocked. DeSalvo aggressively coming out of his crease with a stretch pass. It's a good one too to Zlansky. He was looking for McMahon. Green Maison couldn't find him, and eventually Pine Murphy will glove that one.
Yeah, pretty smart play there to hold that one up, Pine Murphy. The Thunder certainly looked like they were getting onto something out there on the ice. Let's have a look at Pine Murphy's stats for this season so far. He suited up for 9 games, 1 win, 6 losses, 218 shots for 194 saves, giving him a save percentage of .890.
And he's been pretty good this year when he's had the opportunity, apart from Friday night, but I think he was let down a lot by the people in front of him as well, it should be said.
Well, but .89 is actually his best save percentage in the last 3 years. So realistically, from the games he has suited up for, he's not having that bad of a season.
Goaltending hasn't been Melbourne Ice's problem this year.
What has been Melbourne Ice's problem, Cluffy?
I think it's...
I reckon I got a few people just outside the window that'd love to have a chat with you about it. If you could let them know.
The overall team performance hasn't been there. The goaltending's been really solid.
Yeah, look, I think you're right. And a lot of that as well, I think, is testament to a lot of the work that Johan Steenberg did when he was with the club the last couple of years too. He's been a really great character for the development of Australian goaltenders.
And of course, James Downey with the club for a while, and that kid's going to be a superstar.
Oh, no doubt.
So Graham, he goes out wide, out towards Fleming. Now Powell out towards Armstrong. This is a nice setup. DeSalvo makes the save.
Seeing some encouraging signs early from the Ice here.
The Carpenter threw it on net, and in the end Webster couldn't trap it. But certainly the effort intensity from Melbourne Ice so far is a lot higher than it was on Friday night.
I'm seeing a lot of pucks on net, and I'm seeing a lot of pucks getting low in the slot there. So, you know, as Jaff would say if he was here, good things happen when you shoot.
So sack for the Thunder. Backhanded by Bro as Lansky swoops onto it. Force out, well, he's just setting up for the pass now. McMahon with a backhander went well high. That hit the back netting, and we'll have a face-off.
Actually surprised with McMahon. That actually looked like a pretty good opportunity for him there. But it looks like we got our first tweet come in, and it's from Anders. Do you think that Graham, Webster, Armstrong, Backlick, Wong will play next season after this season of disaster?
I think Graham probably yes. Webster don't know.
Backlick didn't play this season.
Yeah, because of injury, so I don't know. And probably Armstrong's...
I mean, realistically, I mean, when you're looking at players like, of that type of calibre and that type of era, and
Well, the Wongs are still pretty young, and we should say Chris played his 150th game on Friday night.
Well, but I don't think that these guys are playing necessarily because of the result. You know, I don't think that Melbourne Ice have got these guys playing just purely because they're winning. And, you know, at the first sign of things not going their way, they're going to drop it and get out. I just don't think it's that type of club, and I don't think that's the type of reason an Australian would be playing hockey in this type of a league.
But we probably got, in the case of particularly, say, the Websters and the Powers and Armstrong, they're getting to that stage of their career anyway. They probably haven't got a huge amount of time left in at least this level of the game.
I think the reason you lose guys out of you know, a league like the AIHL is actually the external factors. Your guys are going off, they're getting married, they're having kids, they're getting jobs overseas.
Yeah, the body is they wake up morning after game much slower than they used to be, and
I mean, there's the thing that, you know, is very easy to forget with all the glitz and glamour of, you know, hockey at this type of level and the way that, you know, we're able to present hockey in this country. It's easy to forget that these guys are still just playing it because they love it.
And it's in. Perth Thunder get the first goal. Beautiful setup, and Lansky gets it, hits the pipe at the bottom, and it went in.
That was an excellent setup there with Lansky sitting out at the point. I mean, there was absolutely nobody out there to cover him. We were just getting basically a wide open look at the net. Have a look here. So you can see a great switch play. Watch that. So Punlett goes in, distracts a lot of the Melbourne Ice defence. They're all puck watching. You know, you've got Wong there. He probably was the one that was best placed to be able to do something about that. But by that stage, you've got them all bunched up right in front of Pine Murphy. He doesn't have clear vision on that puck coming, and it's coming.
All looking the wrong way they were. Lansky with his 17th goal of the season. Perth Thunder take the lead. So now Hoddick, pass out wide looking for Clark, just on the wrong side of him. Now Pundler for the Thunder. We'll send that one into the corner. Marcus Wong gets there first. Hoddick can support. Try to get it back out towards Wong. Now the Ice are able to clear. Aggressive passing there by DeSalvo out towards Simon Kutler.
Good hit there on Chai.
Now Goodman, the captain for the Perth Thunder. Looks at blue line himself, loses a puck. Nice clear, but only as far as David Kudler. Rink wide pass. And Todd Graham. Now Armstrong. Shot was well wide in the end. The Bronte. DeSalvo with the save. And Kudler looking to clear. Bronte keeps it in. Good pass too, finds Armstrong. Out towards Corbett. Velez past the slot. No one home. Corbett gets out towards Velez. Lansky steals the puck and is able to clear. Noslanski already has 1 goal tonight, the opener. The Corbett takes the blue line, has to stop, wait for the trailer. Too much heavy traffic there for the Perth Thunder.
Lansky with a really great D there.
Here's a chance for Cox, but he couldn't get the tip.
A fantastic defensive setup.
Now Graham. The Carpenter.
Look at that D set up there for the Thunder. They had Zlansky just sitting out there on the blue line, you know, ready to go, and straight away Melbourne Ice just hit a wall on the blue line. It was that was fantastic setup.
Well, Leslie again with another shot. Pine Murphy had that one covered.
That's one of the better saves I've seen Pine Murphy make this season. That thing was coming at 1,000,000 miles an hour. I don't think Zlansky himself could understand how that got saved.
Yeah, he's got a killer shot landed on Zlansky. That's it's an absolute bullet, really. But again, just too easy that he could work his way into that position. So face-off attacking zone now for the Perth Thunder. But it's Ice who should win it from the face-off. Carpenter gets there first. Puck stolen by Grain Maison. Pass to the slot, but no one's home, and here comes Liam Webster for the Ice. Able to dump that one down in the corner. It's going to be a foot race. Tomic Sack gets there first for the Thunder. Pass was to no one and nowhere, and well, they could have made him pay the Melbourne Ice, but here comes the Perth Thunder. McMahon out towards Bro. Oh, he just had a bit of a swing there, McMahon. But it's going to be played with a high stick. In fact, it's going to be a hand pass. It's going to be called.
That was the second attempt there by Jason McMahon. That was, tell you what, that thing had have connected. I don't think a net would have stopped it. Davian Newland with the season over for the Ice. I wonder how many kids they'll give ice time to tonight.
Well, they've got Pansino, Bronte, Kachia. We've only seen Bronte out so far. I believe they really have to play the kids. We need to, the long-term future of the Melbourne Ice, we just need to get an understanding how good these kids are or are not.
Well, as far as I can tell, there's no reason not to. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Particularly Christian Pansino. He's played a few games, but hasn't had a huge amount of ice time. I'd like to see what he's got, what he can bring to the table as an AIHL player. Nathan Kachira, I'm convinced, has got a long-term future. And Declan Bronte as well. He's a very special prospect. So Green Maison had an attempted shot and it was blocked. Intercepted there by McMahon. Perth will take a chance to make a line change. And the Melbourne Ice slowly clear the zone. T will flip that one up into the corner. DeSalvo happy to play that one along the boards. Lodge will clear out towards Simon Kudler. He'll take the blue line, wait for the trailer. Pass was a good one, but read beautifully there by Sam Hoddick. Hoddick comes in, takes the blue line, should drive on it, gets the shot away, and DeSalvo makes the save.
Oh, gee, that was, again, look at the look on his face as well.
It's like he's going to get his birthday present.
I reckon so, and it's a very happy birthday to Sam Hoddick. Let's take a quick look at DeSalvo's numbers. So he's suited up for the Thunder 25 games so far this season. 879 shots for 793 saves. .902 is his save percentage, which is actually his lowest that I've seen so far out of it. But you wouldn't know it for how the Thunder are shaping up.
Yeah, he was a bit slow by his standards. Didn't have a great start to the season by the standards that he set previously. He seemed to got better as the season got along, and he's going to be a key for Perth Thunder because if he falls over, they're in real trouble. So now Graham finds Clark. Happy to dump that one in the corner, make it a foot race. Woodman should get there first with Thunder and finds Punler. Now Kieran Webster. As an assessing his options, you just go out, back out towards Alistair Punler. The girl out wide again. So Webster again. So a little bit of disorganisation from Perth Thunder clearing the puck.
A little bit dangerous there by Wong. I reckon he was hoping that he wasn't going to accidentally follow through on that hit too hard.
Now Velez up against Cox. Velez protects the puck, but then leaves it behind. Open the door now for Cox. Cox waiting for the trailers to come in. Couldn't get a clean pass away. Jordy Kiros, who's tied up, gets out towards Cox. Tomic Sack. They send him in the corner. Melbourne Ice having now through Carpenter. The Bronte. Just moved the puck along before the hit come in. That was wise play. Chris Wong trying to leave it there for Velez. Velez gets a shot from a tight angle. Rebound off and Kiros gets there first. Perth are able to clear. Kiros Puts that one in the corner. And that really should have been a penalty call against Geordie Kiris, but none forthcoming.
That was great D-work there by Webster. Really positioned the body perfectly just to make sure he locked him out of the play.
So Webster. Now sack. Just hacked there by Kiros, tempted backhander. So Armstrong flips it up high. Chance for Powell. Gets a shot away. And that's hit the netting. Melbourne Ice are calling for a delay game penalty.
And I think we're going to get one.
And we will by the looks of it.
Yep. And it looks like Bremner is going to go sit for that one. So that's going to be 2 minutes for delay of game. And we're going to see some 5-on-4 action in favour of the Melbourne Ice. 5:39 left in the first period. Thunder leading by a goal.
And chance for Melbourne Ice to tie up the scores.
So Fleming and
going to be cleared by Woodman. Kept in by Liam Webster. Fleming gets it out towards Graham. Just managed to keep it in. Now Powell. Graham. Powell behind the net. Looking at his options. Pass out wide. So Fleming to Webster. Gets time and space to have a shot. The shot though was blocked. Graham will go out wide. Webster will keep it in. Gets it out towards Fleming. Now Armstrong lost the puck.
I think they need Powell to do a little bit more than park himself in front of De Salvo.
So Webster keeps it in again.
They need someone to drive straight into that mid slot.
The Webster. Shot, rebound, and it's in!
There it is.
Tipped in by Matt Armstrong. The Ice score on the power play, it's 1-1.
Well, the story about that one there, Michael, is persistence. Persistence, persistence, persistence. And good things happen when you shoot.
Thanks, Jeff.
Well, there you go. They created a situation there where it was a bit of a pressure cooker around the net. And as you can see, as the Ice just started to collapse in on De Salvo, things started to get hard. You had a lot of Thunder players that were locked out outside that. Look at that. Your closest 5 players to the park are in favour of Melbourne Ice there. And that's not a situation you want to be in if you're Peter De Salvo.
And good work by Liam Webster to continually keep that puck in the zone to make sure that the pressure remained and was built up. So flipped up into the corner. Graham should get there first. Has support in the form of Declan Bronte. So fanning on that one was Bronte. Cox coming in for the Thunder. Now Graham for the Ice.
It's the first time these Melbourne Ice fans have seen a goal in, what is it, at least 4 periods of hockey. Maybe
yes,
more.
it is. Conceded 9 this weekend before they scored that. 8 this weekend before they scored that goal. So Graham at the point. Oh, and the puck spills free, but Chris Wong just couldn't.
But they're doing the smart thing there. Yeah. They're getting bodies right in front of De Salvo. You know, realistically, I don't think that the point is a really high percentage shot area for the Melbourne Ice, except for the likes of somebody like
Liam Webster. But if you've got the good screen, it becomes a very good idea.
Absolutely right, and that's why you just got to keep parking guys up low like that. That's what you got to do.
So Graham is tied up there by Zlansky. Pass finds Armstrong. In fact, it was Powell. Powell now finds Fleming. Pass eventually does find Armstrong. Wait for the trailer to come in. Fleming can't get a clean shot away. Lancey just overskated it. Graham towards Powell.
Had a good option there in Powell coming right through the slot there. Didn't opt to take it ultimately.
Now the Thunder clear through Grand Maison. Grand Maison trying to cut his way in. Did so, but the puck decided not to travel with him.
Interestingly enough there, with Grand Maison coming in, you had Barreau and McMahon. I was almost going to do it to you from Barreau and McMahon, but they both they just glide into that one, let him do all of the heavy lifting. I thought that was probably a missed opportunity, because I think that if you'd had Barreau really drive into the slot there, he probably could have created another option. And if Grand Maison could have actually put one into the pads of Pine Murphy, it's likely that he would have given away a rebound.
Pick up the rebound, and Fleming, one of the Melbourne Ice imports, into the penalty box. And you see, I think it's that last little hook there, so it's going to be a power play to the Perth Thunder.
Corbett and Cox. Cox is the winner on that one.
So it was Lansky with the shot. The shot, though, was wide. So the Thunder have it. The Grand Maze zone towards Lansky.
Oh, dear.
Pad save there by Pine Murphy. There's Lansky. Tight angle, goes out wide, looking for Bro. He couldn't get a full connection on it.
I think Corbett's sitting too high in this setup.
And the pass meets Grand Maison. So Landon Lansky will have to go and retrieve the puck.
Melbourne Ice are definitely going to get a line change here. Powell in hot pursuit. And now Armstrong. And now Graham. Everyone's going to have a crack at that one, but now it's going to be Bremner up against Bronte. Neither are going to win that, but the Thunder are ultimately going to be victorious. Out to the point. And Bronte's going to clear that one. Wow. And it's going to go the whole way down. DeSalvo comes out of his net to grab that one. Powell is the first one near it, but it's back with Lansky as Lansky over the blue line to Bremner. Bremner passes out wide at the half boards. That's going to be Barreau. Barreau goes cross ice. Just about got it straight back there. That could have been a fantastic opportunity, but fanned on the one-timer there. But Lansky sets up to come back in, takes the blue line, puts a shot on. That one's well wide, and we're going to get a stoppage in play.
And we'll return to the professionals.
Like, what can I say?
But a great pad save there by Pine Murphy. But gee, what an opportunity there. If Cox had managed to get even just a little bit of a tip on that one, I reckon that would have gone through.
I thought Bronte was really good there in front of net. Gave a lot of confidence.
I should say that line for the Perth Thunder, the Cox, Kiros, Bremner line was really good for them last night as well.
Carpenter tries to clear. It's going to be Slansky out at the blue line that ultimately is going to be victorious. And Corbett in hot pursuit puts a shot on. Ably saved. Back straight into the slot, and Melbourne Ice intercept. They're going to clear it. Goes the whole way down, stopped by DeSalvo. DeSalvo opts not to go to McMahon, goes out to Slansky. Slansky to Grand Maison, takes the blue line, passes, centering pass, intercepted by the Ice. Armstrong through to Fleming. Fleming puts one on, and that one looks like it went in. It does. Melbourne Ice puts their second in for the game, puts them ahead, and who thought that one period of hockey in, you'd be saying that, Michael Clough?
Absolutely not, but that was, well, perfect timing for the Melbourne Ice as Fleming came straight out of the penalty box and found his way into the action. You can see he's been turned over. Out comes, well, just came out of the penalty box then. He was ready for the pass, had plenty of time and space to play with, went top shelf, as you do, because the Savo went down a fraction too early. Fleming read that one. He nailed it top shelf, and he gets his. That's Fleming. That is only his 8th goal of the season, believe it or not.
I think that was a bit of a lapse on the part of Perth Thunder there, trying to be too pretty with their power play, and I think that they lost track of the clock and lost track of the fact that the Ice were just about to have a man come out of the box.
Well, one thing I didn't hear, did I not hear the tap, tap, tap you usually hear from the goaltender when there's the penalties betting?
Tell you the truth, mate, all I could hear was my own brilliance and my own 2 ears.
Well, you call it brilliance, I'll let the viewers decide. So Perth Thunder win the face-off. So Cox.
Cop that, mate.
Cleared away by the Ice. Now Armstrong has a bit of space and time and space to play with, but Kudler just checked it away. Fleming. Now Bremner for the Thunder. One last rush for the visitors. Kiros. A Hail Mary, Pine Murphy offers up the rebound, but time will be the enemy of the Perth Thunder. And believe it or not, it is the Melbourne Ice at the end of the first period who lead 2-1.
Well, Cluffy, look, I think the Ice are going to be very happy with that result, as you'd expect, but the Thunder are going to be pretty happy too, because realistically, I think the big challenge for Melbourne Ice is to be able to keep up with the pace of the Thunder. The Thunder are fast, and they actually controlled the pace of that play.
But the Melbourne Ice capitalised on their chances. So to wrap things up at the end of the first period, it is the Melbourne Ice who lead the Perth Thunder, who really are playing for final survival in this one. It's 2-1 in favour of the home side. We're back shortly with the second period of play. Welcome back to O'Brien Group Arena. Melbourne AIHL 2-1 lead over the Perth Thunder. Great effort by the Melbourne Eyes, certainly much improved on what we saw on Friday night. The Thunder, they probably had more of the chances, it should be said, in that first period, but the Eyes capitalised on the few opportunities they did have, and it means bad news for the Perth Thunder if this type of scoreline remains.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, that's actually probably one of the better periods we've seen Melbourne Ice play in a little while, so that was pretty good. Thank you, Pete Lambert. Your wish is my command, mate. They don't say my middle name's Jaffa for nothing. In fact, well, that's a little scary, isn't it? Imagine being named after Jaff. Good things happen when you shoot.
Oh, is that what you're going to name your next kid, is it? Jaff?
We'll just say about that one. I'll get back to you.
So now it's Carpenter for the Eyes, goes to stretch pass, looking for Fleming. Got the game-leading goal. And now in their first, Webster up against McMahon. Beautiful pass by McMahon to the slot. Lansky fires and shoots an absolute rocket. Good pad save by Pine Murphy. And now Fleming for the Ice. Just tries to cut in. Probably went for one move too many. Now Fleming again. The Thunder able to clear now through Bro. Tipped down by Webster. Grand Maison. The Carpenter looking out towards Powell, but that gets played off the board. So that'll be an icing call against the Melbourne Ice.
So one of the interesting things there in that intermission, Cluffy, I noticed, was the Melbourne Ice were at the gate with about 3 minutes to go in that intermission. All fired up. They're all in the race. They're interacting with the fans. The complete opposite to everything else I've seen out of them at home this year. Normally they're quite late into the bench. They normally don't acknowledge the fans on their way out. So I'm not quite sure what that means, but 2-1 up at the end of one, probably good things.
Means they're ready to play.
Hopefully so.
The Kyrgios, the pass was intercepted. Fleming has it now. Gets it out wide, out towards Powell. Powell is looking for the tip there of Armstrong. And that's hit the back netting over face-off. But one thing we've noticed so far, the kids haven't got a huge amount of ice time so far.
Well, so question from my younger, worse half. That would be my brother, Sam Morgan. Will Joey Hughes be back at the ice next season? Tell you the truth, I don't think anybody could ever make a call on that with any confidence at this point of the year. It's look, Joey is a fantastic talent for Australian Ice Hockey League, for the Australian Ice Hockey League and ice hockey in Australia in general. Fantastic guy, and I know he's got a heck of a lot going on in his own life. So, you know, I think the best thing we can hope for is just to have Joey involved in hockey in this country for as long as possible. Very
diplomatic answer there.
Mate, only the best.
So Bronte got the pass away, but it's intercepted by Kieran Webster. It's sent it back into the corner where Declan Bronte will retrieve the puck. Tend to play off the boards. So Lodge. Simon Kutler was there as well. Kieran Webster couldn't trap it. Bronte able to play it along the boards. Dangerous pass out towards Graham. He's able to clear, flips it up high. Corbett remained onside. In fact, no, he didn't in the end.
So just speaking of Joey Hughes, actually, so I caught up with Joey probably in the gate lounge in an airport a couple of months ago while he was on the way to Canberra. And by all accounts, Joey's really enjoying his hockey, playing for the Brave.
That actually was onside for mine.
Yeah, that was pretty onside. Well, I suppose it depends where the puck is in the air, and that's just not something that we've got a perspective on.
Well, yeah, I think, yeah, to me that's onside. I can see the puck there. I'm not sure many of you, I would have called it, but it's always a tough one to call if you're a linesman.
I just don't think you look as fetching in stripes as you think.
So Simon Kudler gets it out towards Lodge. To Kachia for the Eyes. Now Clark. Stretch pass, well, intercepted by Simon Kudler. He's happy to play that one off the boards. Again, going to be a foot race. Marcus Wong leads the way. Pushing the boards there by Simon Kudler. Hoddick. Now towards Kachia, and the Eyes should be able to clear. Now Clark skates onto it. Tries to get it out towards Hoddick. And that's going to be a penalty against the Thunder. Grange Phillips was all over that pretty quickly.
Yeah, now this is going to be very interesting, I think. So Lodge goes to set 2 for the Thunder.
For the hook.
Yes, and it was certainly there. I don't think that the Thunder could be too unhappy with that one. But it'll be interesting to see the way that the ice set up on this power play. I must admit I haven't been overly convinced by Melbourne Ice's power play this year. Just my own personal call on that.
And that was a very clear hook, actually.
Thank you, Captain.
So now it's the Thunder able to clear the zone from the face-off. To Fleming. And Webster will go back out towards Fleming. Melbourne Ice looking to set things up.
They're certainly taking no chances in trying to break this puck out. Look at how many men they've got back there.
And in the end, well, Perth should be able to clear quite easily. They haven't been able to. So now they've just said that. They've gone and defied me. But again, there's no structure right now to the Melbourne Ice power play. To Graham. To Armstrong at the blue line. The Pell in there was deemed to be onside.
So look at this, everybody around the outside except for Powell starting to come through the centre there and Armstrong coming in on the whistle. I think you need to get the guys off the boards. You know, I just don't think you're going to be able to bring this one in from the point and call it done.
Not with DeSalvo and the net either. You do need to get some traffic in front of him. That wasn't a bad screen though, it should be said by Powell, coming in late. Absolutely. And moving.
And Armstrong had managed to get around Lansky there too.
So Graham through the eyes, gets it out towards Powell. Out to Armstrong. Finds Webster. Fires, shoots, pad save there by DeSalvo.
Fleming doing a really good job in front of DeSalvo there.
Now Goodler should get there first for the Thunder. And a good save there by Peter DeSalvo. All of a sudden, the Melbourne Ice are starting to find their structure on the power play.
And that's good. That's kind of what you hoped was going to happen there. Can't tell exactly how long's left on this power play. Just looking at the old O'Brien Group Arena scoreboard, it's something that ends in a 4. But that's okay. I'm sure that'll be fixed by finals. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Well, we've got a pretty little graphic that will tell you the same thing.
Yeah, the score bar will tell us in a second.
Amazing, you actually designed this score bar.
Score bar, yes. Scoreboard, no.
So Webster for the
40
ice.
seconds, there you go.
So Carpenter, in fact that was Hoddick, gets Armstrong. Looking for Fleming. Trying to get back out towards Webster. Perth now able to clear. Lansky waiting for Cox. Cox drives towards the net. Got a shot away, but Pine Murphy was well positioned for that one. And it's going to be cleared away by Fleming. Now Powell. Pass back out towards Jack Carpenter. Fire on net, looking for a tip. Armstrong got the tip, but it was wide. Now Webster.
Back to full strength.
Kept in by Carpenter. Now Kyrgios for the Thunder. Happy to go back. Sweeping that one as Alistair Punler. We'll send that one in the corner. Perth Thunder will make a line change. The wide pass wasn't a great one. Moved along by Webster. Bro. This is a nice setup for the Thunder. McMahon just couldn't trap it. Along the half wall, Perth Thunder intercepted by Woodman. Shot comes in. Pad save. And the eye's clear. So DeSalvo. Down for Lansky. Well, that's a dangerous move there by DeSalvo. Coming out aggressively, but it's worked out okay for the Thunder. So McMahon. Shot was wide. Now Chris Wong. Skating on the puck now will be Landon Ozlansky. And Sam Hoddick. Happy to concede some territory. But it could come unstuck for the ice. Pass now. It's Cox, well, fanned on the shot. There was two Perth Thunder players who could have raffled it, and then they made a bit of a mess of it.
This is not really looking like the Perth Thunder that I've been watching so far this year, Cluffy. It's, I don't know, they look rattled.
They look like they're not able to find that extra gear, and it should be noted, and I've said a couple times, this is a critical game in terms of their finals hopes in 2 weeks' time. They just can't afford to drop this game at all. Be compounded if the Sydney Ice Dogs beat the CBR Brave tonight. So Bronte now got a soft touch on that one, and the Ice are able to clear David Kudler. Now Bremner. Graham will get there first, but great work there by Bremner. Eventually lost an edge. Now Graham for the Ice. Pass was chopped off. Thunder couldn't keep it in. So Woodman just trying to weave his way through traffic, gets a shot away. Pine Murphy makes the save, hits the back glass. And eventually Pine Murphy will glove that one, who's been pretty solid tonight after conceding the first goal of the game.
So I'm just having a look over here in the Thunder bench. It looks like the backup goalie for the Thunder is actually, if I'm picking it right here, that looks like Tim Morano, who's actually goalie for the Sharks, a team down here.
Tom Munro.
Sorry, Tom. Yeah, sorry. What did I say?
Yeah, one of the...
he's from a Vic team, the Sharks.
He's an IHV goaltender, so they brought in a local ringer as a backup, which I think Perth Thunder had done a little bit of this year. Munro actually, last time Perth were here in Victoria, they had the same thing, so he's sort of been their Victorian backup goaltender.
Smart move.
Well, given that they pretty much play DeSalvo exclusively, it certainly saves costs.
Well, that it does.
And gives someone else opportunity. Oh, no, great chance there for the Fleming for the Ice. Shot was a little wide. And that net's come off its moorings, but what it kind of does, it gives a local guy a potential not only to suit up and hang around an AIHL team, but something happens to Salvo, he has to get called on.
Yeah, well, that's right. That's right. No, and look, realistically as well, I mean, much as you always hope nothing ever happens to your goaltender, I mean, even just being on the bench with AIHL teams is fantastic for a developing goaltender, you know, to be able to get that type of experience too.
Because one of the Victorian IHV goaltenders isn't aligned to either the Ice or the Mustangs.
That's right. I'd love to see you padded up on the bench, Cluffy, actually, just to get a bit of experience there. I think it'd be good for you. Yeah,
you know what happened if that did occur? Goalie would go down in the first minute. And I'd have to be carried out, tied to the goal post. Hope for the best. So the Ice now have it through Webster. Under looking to clear. McMahon found on the first attempt, got the second pass away. Only as far as Webster going stretch pass, looking for Fleming. DeSalvo well out of his crease. That's Martin Berdouesque. Very aggressive in that regard, Peter DeSalvo, and the Thunder are able to clear once again. And that will be icing against Perth Thunder, but the Melbourne Ice are definitely looking at a tactic to really have that headman, go for the stretch pass, try and break the opposition. They've been doing that particularly tonight, but I noticed in the past couple of games when they've played well, that's a tactic they've employed.
Well, and I'm seeing that the Thunder are not really adjusting to that game style too well as well. See, a lot of other teams have worked that out really quickly, and all of a sudden, you're finding Melbourne Ice are just getting these stretch passes chopped off left, right, and centre, but that hasn't happened yet. I wonder how long that will take.
So Pundler up against Armstrong. Pundler will win out for the Thunder. Zlansky out wide to Grand Maison. We'll take Blue on, wait for the trailer there, which is Zlansky. Pass, trapped by Grand Maison. Gets a shot away through the 5-hole, and it's all square.
There it is, the old 1-2-3 play. Unreal, and I don't reckon that Pine Murphy's going to want to see that replay again in a hurry.
No, he won't.
Not at all.
Again, Grand Maison did have plenty of time and space to work with, but when a shot goes that low from that distance at that pace, there wasn't a huge screen. You really do at this level to be saving those.
Oh, fantastic vision there from Grand Maison.
Oh, he saw an opening and went for it, and there was nothing else on offer. So
did he? Wide. There'd be few people, I reckon, that can pull one of those off reliably.
So it's 2-2 here, back square. And Justin was saying the Perth Thunder are struggling to find that extra gear. They score a goal and level things up. Here's their opportunity. Along the half wall now. Great work there by David Kudler. And that's nearly taken out one of our cameras and is in the crowd. and someone forgot they could souvenir a puck. It's not the footy. You have to return the ball.
I tell you, how much better is it to watch hockey in this place now, given that we've got the netting open these days, and as a fan, you get the unobstructed experience rather than the jail cell experience.
It just reminded me when at the Ginsberg tournament on with the net on, and just even in the stands how much better it is without the net. Now Bronte and Cox. Cox wins out for the Thunder. And Velez should be able to clear now for the Melbourne Ice, and he does. Finds Corbett. Been one of the good news stories for the Melbourne Ice this season. Gets a shot away, and DeSalvo makes the save.
Straight into the logo on DeSalvo there. That one was always going to get saved. But see, it's interesting watching Melbourne Ice. They're not controlling possession of the puck or anything like that, but they're certainly getting opportunities, and this time making the most of them. What do you think will be the big difference between next year's Ice team and this year's team? Better imports, harder goaltenders? Well, I don't know, Cluffy. What do you think?
I think the import situation, that the imports this year, when you compare them to last year, it's a chalk and cheese scenario compared to some other teams in the league. So definitely the quality of imports makes a huge difference to any AIHL side, and I think this year's batch for the Melbourne Ice just weren't up to scratch compared to the opposition. And a chance there for the Ice. Saved by DeSalvo. Could be trapped there by Carbon. Here's a chance for Grand Maison. He's on his own. Comes in, shoots, and goals. Great work there by Pierre Olivier. Grand Maison. The Perth Thunder take the lead.
Wow, would you look at that type of performance? I mean, for a second there, I thought that for the grace of God, that one was actually not going to go his way. But as it turned out, he had it no matter what the entire way. I don't think anything was going to stop that. Have a look here. So you've got the Melbourne Ice player Webster. He goes down in front there, and it looked like he was actually going to bobble that puck just enough to be able to break up that scoring opportunity, but it just didn't go that way.
Yeah, caught Webster flat-footed, and Grand Maison with speed buried it, and all of a sudden the Perth Thunder have gone from 1 goal down to 1 goal up in a blink of an eye. So Landon Oslansky, the Grand Maison, Carpenter.
Just going back to the import situation with Melbourne Ice, so reading between the lines on the things the club has said this year, I guess I think it's fair to say that import selection is just not something that they really had the luxury of doing for the most part, because it sounded like they had a number of imports set up that they wanted to bring across, probably tied to their coach that they wanted to bring in. That didn't end up happening.
And I think there was one who actually got injured just before they were coming over too, one of the Swedes.
That's right. So they had some visa problems there, and I think that derailed the whole thing. And I think the push was on then. I mean, we saw Melbourne Ice were the last of last teams to get a roster out. When it did come out, I think it had more names than a phone book, just about. So realistically, I think that Melbourne Ice probably didn't get the type of start to their season as far.
And that's going to be a bad penalty giveaway.
Yeah,
that's terrible there by Matt Armstrong.
Armstrong's a veteran too. That's yeah. And look, no argument out of Armstrong there. He knows all about that one.
I think he'll be lucky if he just walked away with 2 from that one.
Yeah, that was not great. Let's get another look at it here. So it comes down at the half boards, skating through. And yeah, that one's definitely in the numbers there. Look, I think that I don't think we're going to see an injury out of that one, thankfully, but that could have been really, really dangerous.
Yeah, that's a very poor penalty giveaway from, like you mentioned, someone who's been around for long enough to know that you don't need to do that.
It's only going on the borders too, though.
And a chance now for Perth Thunder on the power play to extend their lead. So Zelansky and Grand Mason try to get out towards Zelansky. The Ice are able to clear.
Fantastic clear there. Yeah, so I suppose, I mean, and from what I understand, Melbourne Ice didn't really have much of a pre-season either. So, you know, the luxury of being able to choose the best imports you can get, and the luxury of being able to run a really great pre-season, I think they've missed out on both of those.
And those things now, it's the way the league's developing is, as you see, a lot of professional leagues can't do a pre-season, can't get the players you want in your roster, you're pretty much cooked before you start.
Well, that's right. And then, of course, with the timing of the season this year, you ended up with players away for world representation.
Though the players filling in did very well, it should be said. They
absolutely.
Now, Bro just tried to cut the middle lane, wasn't able to. Grand Maison trying to weave his way through. Shot was just a little too high. But great chance there by Grand Maison. Zelansky, that was offside for mine, but it's been waved onside. Play's been broken up by Chris Wong, and Zelansky have to go back and retrieve the puck.
50 seconds on this power play. Hasn't been a lot of offence, though.
The Grand Maison out towards Atlansky, out wide towards Bro. Go back out towards Atlansky, winds up, shoots and scores! Oh, what an absolute bullet that was. A perfect setup for the Perth Thunder, and they lead 4-2.
There it is, an absolute cannon. I mean, that thing was either going to go in the net or it was probably going to go through the glass. That was some
through the goalie
power.
Now, let's see if they got a tip on the way through, but that shot itself, you can see a perfect setup in the Perth Thunder.
Oh, we can check for a tip. I'll just see if there's any splinters. Look at that, straight through. Unbelievable. Might have got a tip to it right in front there. Hard to tell from there.
I'll see who gets credit with the goal, but the setup for the Thunder was perfect.
Oh, unreal.
So Thunder now lead 4-2 in this must-win encounter for the visitors. So Kachia now gets out to Jeremy Chai, lost the puck. And that's probably going to be a call for a trip, and it will be. And all things are starting to go very wrong for the home side.
Well, look, we're probably used to seeing this type of thing start to happen in the third period, so we're probably a little bit ahead of schedule here, to tell you the truth. And look, it's a real shame because, I mean, it looked like we had a real game on our hands here too. But, yeah, I mean, we get into penalty trouble like this. Any team, you know, gets into this sort of trouble, it's very, very hard to dig yourselves out, particularly when you're coming off the type of season that Melbourne Ice have had. It's going to be a real struggle for them to be able to pick this up. But, as always in hockey, one goal can change a whole game.
So from the face of one by the Thunder is Lansky. The Grand Maison. Now is Lansky. Gets it out towards Grand Maison, gets a shot away. Puck spills free, and it's going to be gloved there by Pine Murphy.
3 guys around Pine Murphy of his own. We got a tweet here from Jeff Coop. Liam Webster just got his ankles broken. Yeah, I tell you what, I wouldn't have wanted to be in front of it, I can tell you.
No, it's...
And for those of you that, that enjoy your hockey but have never actually felt a hockey puck before... Oh, man, those things, it's probably worse than someone firing around brick.
So now Grand Maison gets it back out towards Zelansky. Tight angle shot, no great setup, but Pine Murphy has to come with the first one. Oh, Bremner there with a great chance, couldn't capitalise.
Just had an entirely open net sitting there at the back. I mean, plenty of players
Bremner again was a little wide. Now Zelansky. Grand Maison. Shot was partially blocked. Now it was over the net as well. The Perth Thunder all over the Melbourne Ice right now.
They're really crashing the net, putting on a lot of pressure.
This is all being set up by Landon Zelansky. So Zelansky going for the wide pass. Cox couldn't get a tip. Bro. Whips up out towards Grand Maison, out towards Zelansky. Back to the point. We'll get it back out towards Grand Maison. To Bremner. Another shot, and it was wide.
Man, Fandon.
So Zelansky out wide towards Grand Maison. Another wide pass to Bro, to Zelansky. Just couldn't get quite the setup he wanted. Grand Maison got the shot, and Pine Murphy got a little bit of that and sent it wide.
Grand Maison's having such a hot game. I'd be having somebody in front of him every chance I get.
So Zelansky looking for Grand Maison. And those two men have got the puck on a string at the moment.
Good job to harass him there by Fleming.
So Zelansky.
Going to be back to even strength in 5
winds
seconds.
up, shoots, but the shot was high and hits the back netting.
Oh, and how about that? 1 second left on that penalty clock there. Melbourne Ice are going to start this face-off.
For the past couple of shifts, Landon Zelansky is showing how good and how important he'll be to the Perth Thunder for the remainder of the season.
I've been really impressed with both him and Grand Maison today. I mean, they've both been fantastic, and together too. I mean, when you're watching the two of those coming in, if you're a goaltender, you got to be thinking that it's a bad day at the office.
So from the face-off,
penalties ended, back to full strength.
Thunder have it. Kieran Webster, back to the point out towards David Kudler. So Lodge looking for Webster. Now Chris Wong for the ice. Great work by Woodman, kept it in, but the eyes will eventually clear, but there's overskating the puck and open door for the Perth Thunder. Graham had Lodge lined up.
So much traffic.
Kieran Webster up against Bronte. Pass looking for Lodge. Couldn't get a shot away.
The Thunder are stopping giving Melbourne Ice that respect that they gave them in the first period. You see there that they didn't even bother getting back for defence. They knew they were going to be able to break that up in the neutral zone.
Here's what happens with the lead and a bit of confidence. Races the puck. Great work there by Webster for the Thunder. Now Bronte, poke checked away from him, and that's the end of the second period. One that in the end is dominated by the Perth Thunder, and they lead 4-2.
Quick score check from concurrent game that we've got going on. We got the Bears 2-0 up over the Adrenaline. But I think few surprises there. So having a look,
we've got nothing at Canberra as well in the game between the Ice Dogs and the CBR Brave.
Well, that information came from the one Mr. Zelensky, so the game probably hasn't even started yet, to be fair.
So to wrap things up at the end of 2 periods, it is the Perth Thunder who now lead the Melbourne Ice 4-2. Back shortly with a third period of play. So Perth Thunder lead the Melbourne Eyes 4 goals to 2 heading in the third period here at O'Brien Group Arena. I think it's a tough ask now for the Melbourne Eyes to come back as Perth Thunder really turned the screws in that second period with their season line they had to. Landon Lansky and Pierre-Olivier Grand-Maison in particular leading the way, but Melbourne Eyes win the opening face-off. Can they find a reply? They need to do it in probably the first 5 minutes, set the tempo. As Bronte sends that one in the corner and DeSalvo comes out of his crease. Now it's McMahon trying to get out towards Grand Maison. The punter, that's going to be offside against the Melbourne Eyes. So, James, do you think Melbourne Eyes can get it? And then really should they be focusing on playing the kids in this third period?
I absolutely do think that you need to focus on playing the kids in this period. You got nothing to lose and everything to gain by doing so. And aside from that, I mean, what you got to look at is people are still paying to come and see the game. You know, your fans are still turning up, and you need to be able to show them something. And if that something is not going to be a win, you know, I think most people in these stands would be happy for their team to go down, you know, 6-zip or, you know, those type of numbers, so long as they can see that the club is actually doing something for the future. I think that if you're going to do, you know, neither, well, that's when you're going to have...
that's when we get small crowds like we got in today, and some notable absentees in the crowd today.
Yeah, that's right. You know, looking around, some of the supporter groups are a little bit light on. You know, we got a tweet here from Anders. Going to pull JPM now. Feel sorry for him. He's got no help from the defence. How's the backup goalie? Well, Michael James. He was pretty good on Friday.
I thought he was.
Realistically, he didn't get a heck of a lot of help and certainly didn't get to play the whole game. But I don't think that's down to him at all.
I think he did at least steady the ship a little bit, and very trying circumstances. The battle on the blue line, Velez for the Eyes.
Just a score update from Canberra, by the way. As predicted, Mr. Zielinski was dead wrong, and it's 2-0 at the end of one in Canberra in favour of, in favour of the Brave.
So now it's Webster for the Eyes. So Bremner happy to send that one into the corner. Pine Murphy will come out of his crease.
Now, no doubt that's also...
But a turnover opportunity. Attempted wrap around there by Cox.
It's going to be a little bit dangerous for the Ice Dogs, so they probably really needed to pull out a pretty good performance there against the Brave.
And here's a chance out for Velez. Comes in, shoots. Has it gone through his pads? No, it hasn't.
Safe as houses right there. That there is why the Thunder have such great faith in DeSalvo. That's exactly the type of move that you wanted him to make. Look at that. There was not a gap for that thing to go. You can try and jam it as hard as you like, but you can't go through solid DeSalvo.
I like that nickname, Solid DeSalvo. But here, just a breakdown defensively from the Thunder. That could have almost been a penalty shot, because I thought Velez there with that little attempted trip there was being held up on the breakaway.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think he's looking at the replay. That was a look at the ref like, dude.
There's probably an argument for that, but I mean, even so.
And in fact, Velez will actually go to the penalty box. So it's going to be a Perth Thunder power play. So we've gone from breakaway opportunity out to a penalty kill.
Go figure. So, Cluffy, there's been a few people that have asked the question of, well, you know, what are club management doing about performances like this? And look, I know why people are asking, but realistically, what do you expect any club management to be able to do about something like this? I mean, the season's done, it's over. You know, I mean, this thing had gotten away months ago.
I think it's going to be learn lessons from what went wrong this year to make sure that you don't repeat them.
I
heading
agree.
Into 2019.
I agree. But, I mean, if you listen to what club management say about that, they say that they're the victim of circumstance in many regards. You know?
So Fleming now for the Eyes. Going looking for the tip. Perth Thunder should be able to set up. As Grand Maison will leave it for Oslansky.
So, yeah, the victim of circumstances is how they would portray that. But, you know, if you take that at face value, then what more are you going to do there? I agree, you've got to learn. But they say that they knew a year like this was coming. I think that if you know a year like this is coming, perhaps what you've got to do...
You plan to mitigate for it.
Well, I think you've just got to tell a better story with your fan base.
So Bronte. And Armstrong able to clear, finds Chris Wong. Little backhand attempt. DeSalvo makes the save. Wong and Bremner. Gee, Wong did well for the Melbourne Ice there. But the Thunder should be able to clear, and they do. Only as far as Chris Wong. He's back in the action again. Gets out towards Armstrong, and the shot was wide. So Armstrong trying to pick it off.
Looked like he was going to get another bite at that, Cherry.
Now Landon Oslansky. Shot, and Pine Murphy gets it off his stick, but it's hard to forget that Perth Thunder actually been the team on the power play the past couple, nearly 2 minutes.
Yeah, a bit of a strange one. Sam Morgan, the loss of Hughes, Brown, Baxi, etc. has hurt the ice this year. Getting all or most of those locals puts the ice right back on top. Look, and Sam, you're right, but at the same time...
It certainly doesn't help having players of that quality play combined zero.
Look at the average age of those players, though. I mean, you know, Joey Hughes, you know, Jason Backlig, fantastic talents, but realistically, these guys are getting older and their lives are moving on. I mean, even if you did get them back next year, there's nothing to say you're going to get them the year after.
So now Webster, that's Kieran Webster in the corner. Webster should get it back. Great work, though, by Hoddick. So Woodman. And Hoddick. It's going to be a penalty, and it's going to be a bent against the Perth Thunder. Kieran Webster will sit 2 minutes in the box for tripping. There's a great chance for Melbourne Ice, who I will give credit where credit due, have looked really good in this third period. They've come out with a bit of fire.
Yeah, look, and I think their setup here is really what's going to tell us the story about how the rest of this period is going to go. One goal here. You know, it's not going to change the game, but it's certainly going to change the atmosphere in the room. And sometimes the atmosphere in the room, I mean, hockey is a game that a lot of people will tell you is played on raw emotion.
So from the face-off, the Ice win it. Powell deciding getting towards Graham, does now. He's forced out wide looking for Webster. Gets a shot away looking for the tip there. And DeSalvo, I think, managed to get some on that. And it comes out of his pad. So DeSalvo himself didn't realise where that went. I had to think about it for a sec as well.
They're certainly knocking on the door. Look at that. That power play had not been going very long, and already a really good scoring chance on. That's quite encouraging.
Still like to see, bring out some of the kids and some different players in the power play, looking ahead beyond this next couple of weeks. You mentioned earlier, James, it's more about what the people see for the future, the fans see for the future, as directly opposed to the result tonight.
People can take bad news so long as they understand why they're copying it and what the path out is. And I think, you know, in any situation, that's what you've got to be very mindful of.
So tight angle shot there by Armstrong, and the Thunder able to clear once again. So now Graham has it for the Ice. So Armstrong. Armstrong will get it back. In fact, he just couldn't trap it. And he's opened the door now for Kiros for the Thunder. Kiros out wide looking for his Lancey. He couldn't get it.
Good job there by Fleming, even though probably the pass through the legs didn't go the way he thought it was going to. Ugh,
and then Powell's offside
there. Bad offside. Really needed to be able to play through with that.
Just things were looking exciting there for the Melbourne Ice.
Well, and this is part of the frustration, isn't it? It looks like we're going to have another tweet. Peter Lambert, I expect Baxi, Tommy, Army and Liam to continue with Melbourne Ice. AIHL is a ticket to AIHF tournaments in the green and gold jersey. Well, and Pete, you know, given the events the last couple of weeks, some of us have been wondering about that, I guess you could say. But, or at least that was our understanding. But play continues here. Melbourne Ice break in.
Now Wong's shot was just a little wide, but it was batted away there by DeSalvo. Salvo come out of his crease. Shot there by Corbin, a nice save by DeSalvo.
Yeah, so there's Michael James sitting there in the bench. Pretty quiet day at the office for him, I think. So he actually came in to replace Jaden Pine Murphy before the end of the first period on Friday night against the Mustangs. It looks like both are going to be kicked out. No, we've got the referees conferring with our time.
I think for time, there. So I think they've reclaimed a few extra seconds on the power play for the Ice.
The racing stripe on the scoreboard strikes again, so it's going to be Corbett lining up here against Bro.
And Corbett and Bro. And it's Corbett who wins the face-off for the Eyes. Carpenter. Now Bronte just pressured out of it by Bro. Goes out wide towards Grand Maison. To Zelansky, couldn't trap it.
Look at that. You got three Melbourne Ice players flat-footed in front of the net.
And here come the Melbourne Ice through Chris Wong. Looking there for Velez. Coming in from the point there. The trailer man was Corbett. And DeSalvo makes the save.
This is much better, though. They're skating with a purpose. Jaff would be very proud. Skate with a purpose, gentlemen.
He would be. He's big on skating with a purpose.
Mate, everything Jaff does is with a purpose. It's just sometimes we don't know what exactly that purpose is.
All I can say from Friday night is thank Christ Jaff was in Borneo.
Yeah, we might have to turn that microphone off. G'day, Jaff, if you're watching, though I don't imagine so.
So now the Thunder win the face-off. Now Lodge. Shot there by Lodge, pad save by Pine Murphy. And it's going to be cleared away now. Wong couldn't trap it. Has support there from Corbett. Shot was blocked. To Graham, leave it for Corbett. And now it's going to be Simon Kudler for the Thunder. Lost control of the puck. Wong has it at centre ice. He's happy to dump it in the corner and let the Melbourne Ice make a line change.
Woodman's going to clear that one out, but we're going to get a stop in play here.
And in fact,
it's going to come all the way
it's going to be
down.
called icing. So it was a late icing call. I thought it might have been the case, which means Melbourne Ice can't make a line change.
Why didn't you tell the rest of us, Cluffy? I mean, all that time wasted of having to send guys back to the bench. If you knew all this time, why wouldn't you tell someone?
Because they can't hear me. Either that or they don't want to hear me.
We should all be so lucky. Oh, dear.
So face-off will take its own now for the Perth Thunder.
It's going to be Cox up against Corbett.
You're learning names. Well done.
Oh, mate, look. I've got this sheet in front of me. Can't read it quickly enough.
So sack from the face-off along the half wall. Looking for the tip there for Kiros, and I think it's in.
There it is.
It's in. And Perth Thunder get their fifth.
That is a fantastic play there by the Thunder. I mean, and again, this is just crashing the net, and Melbourne Ice have got absolutely nothing that they can do about that type of a play. In fact, I mean, the vast majority of the chances being created here by the Thunder are coming just from crashing Pine Murphy. I'm not exactly sure what type of adjustment you're going to have to make there to be able to deal with that, but you've got to do better.
Good work delaying there by Tomic Sack, and the pass was enough. It was enough to make sure that Kiros could be competitive and make something, and in the end, he buried it.
Had all the angles covered too. But now, that's Zelansky.
That was Kiros' fifth goal of the season.
Cox in hot pursuit there against Wong, but Wong going to get to it first, passes out, intercepted by Zelansky at the half boards, back across in front of net, out to the point for the Thunder. Thunder shot on, stopped there by Kashia. Attempt to clear, taken back by the Thunder. Kiros posts across to Bremner, puts one high over the top of the net, back out to the point, but that's going to go across the blue line. And Zelansky is going to have to hold that up and wait for him to get back on side. Takes the blue line, comes in, skates across the hash mark, still holding the puck, passes across to Sack. Sack put ones on, and Pine Murphy ably saves that one.
He does. He'd be happy to make a save after conceding the last goal. But it looks like Perth Thunder should be going in for the kill now.
Gee, they look a bit short on the bench there in that shot, don't they?
They do, because they've got quite a few players changing on and off right now.
I was going to say, all of a sudden we're looking at three blokes sitting there.
Maybe Dave Ruck could have made a comeback.
Oh, a lot of them have taken a shower already.
Getting on the early flights back to Perth.
Oh, Thunder easily win that face-off.
They do, but now it's Zelansky looking again for the tip.
Look at that back door there. Twice in a row, and then almost had another goal from it.
So Bronte takes the blue line. He's forced out wide by Kudler, keeps control of the puck. Back to Graham, the point, fires well. Shot was well wide in the end. To Powell. Gets a shot away, rebound offered. Fleming couldn't get a clean shot away, and now with Landon Zelansky for the Thunder. Hasn't been able to clear. McMahon does, but a straight back. Fleming lines up the laser shot.
He had Powell there as an available option. Decided not to take him.
Now Fleming. Again looking for the tip, but the tip was just wide. Armstrong. Bronte. Graham winds up, shoots. And that's barely been tipped in. It was nearly an accidental goal for the Melbourne Ice.
Graham, what he's lacked in accuracy this year, he certainly made up for in luck in situations like that.
There's a chance now for the Thunder, but Bro couldn't get the tip in himself. Now the Ice looking to clear. To Matt Armstrong. Out towards Powell, couldn't trap it. Has it now. It's forced to cycle back. Had long enough.
Changing.
In fact, both teams will change on the fly. To Carpenter. Overskated it. And then he drags down.
There's definitely a penalty
That should be a penalty there. Yep. And it will be.
Corbett trying to argue the point there with our official, but Carpenter, he's going to go sit for that one. And Carpenter looks like he doesn't understand why.
Well, he just overskated the puck there, got himself in an awkward position, and pretty obvious penalty there. But what I'd like to see from Melbourne Ice is we're talking about the youth today. Christian Pansino's barely seen a shift. Nathan Chio, I don't think's had enough. Put them on.
Yeah, absolutely.
This game, as far as I'm concerned, in terms of winning and losing, is a lost cause. It's lost. I just don't see them scoring 3 goals in 10 minutes right now. And, well, that's not going to help if they score a 6 there, Perth Thunder.
No,
as Woodman was in the low slot.
Luckily not for Melbourne Ice there. They didn't need that one. But, gee, this Thunder team, I mean, they are just cruising at the moment, aren't they? I mean, as I said to you at the end of one of the periods earlier, that I didn't think Melbourne Ice were going to be able to keep up with the pace, and I think that's what we're seeing here.
So it's Lansky. A backhanded attempt. Being turned over and Corbett with clear. So the Thunder have it. Green Mazon will leave it for Lansky. Skating through centre ice. Drop pass, not a bad one out towards Bro. Puts on the afterburners, drive towards it, gets into the centre slot. Couple of rebound attempts there by Pine Murphy. Eventually the referee loses sight of it and we'll have a face-off.
Bremner was just content to keep digging there. He thought eventually I'm going to get through here if I keep going, but not quite. So we're having a look at Melbourne Ice head coach Sandy Gardner there on screen. Wonder what would be going through that man's mind at this point in the season.
Well, for Melbourne Ice, this is unfamiliar territory, and his role as coach at normally Melbourne Ice haven't missed the final since 2005, so it's been an incredible run, it should be said, as Perth get another shot away there through Bro, which was blocked.
You've got to lose sometime. And I think there's plenty of people around that are pretty happy to watch them do it.
Oh, absolutely. But remember a few years back, Newcastle had their first. Brendan's shot was wide, and Cox. Now is Lansky at the point, just keeps that in. In fact, no, he didn't. Oh. And that will be offside. But back to my point, Newcastle, when they missed it, was it 2014? They missed the finals for the first time ever?
Yeah, you've got Austin McKenzie, Brent Laver, Maxim Schneider sitting up there just watching on from the balcony.
And plays well.
All guys
Austin
that
McKenzie had injured this year.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Gary Dore didn't take, going back to my point, Gary Dore didn't rest on his laurels. He came out rather aggressively and won the next 2 Goodall Cups.
Yeah, absolutely he did.
Clever recruiting. And
they had a really good setup. And it's funny, I mean, you look at Newcastle and you say, well, how much development talent can you have at Newcastle? But, they just keep proving time after time that there's plenty. And
crafty selection of imports has made a massive difference as well to that club.
Oh, there's no doubt that they're well.
Here's a chance now for the Ice. Fleming, well, coming way out of his crease there was De Silva. That was a very aggressive move.
De Silva was going to need a passport by the end of that run.
In fact, I think he was nearly back in Perth.
He's going to run home. Yes.
Yeah, don't worry, guys. I think you got this done. I'm going home.
It was almost reminiscent of a certain incident that we had a few years back. But and that involved the Thunder too, if I remember.
Yes,
but we're having a look at the...
couple of Ginsberg team there, Queensland and Western Australia, some of the young players there.
Yeah, a pretty good tournament earlier today. Caught some of the end of that.
The final was pretty darn good between Victoria and New South Wales, with New South Wales claiming a shootout win. Game actually went into overtime.
And then a shootout.
Yes, well, that tends to happen that way.
Well, but interestingly enough, I thought they were meant to play 2 overtimes.
But they didn't.
No.
So Wong went for a no-look shot. Carpenter. Now Wong. He's been good in this third period. And again, coming aggressively out of his crease was De Salvo. It's almost Kerry Price-esque because of his ability to pass the puck, which we don't see often. Well, we don't really see with any goaltenders in this league outside of De Salvo. He's like an extra defenseman when he plays like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So Simon Kudler. Puck's being turned over. Battle along the half wall, and it's Chris Wong, who for mine has probably easily been the Melbourne Ice's best player tonight, but he hasn't been able to clear. Now Oslansky loses the puck, gets it back. Battle along the half wall. He's done well, Oslansky, but Wong just corralled him and now is fighting for the puck up against Lyndon Lodge.
See, look at this. They're just drawing in more players to this contest over there at the half boards.
So Lodge. It's out towards Kiros, back towards Lodge, as Lancey couldn't keep it in.
The tempo of this game has really slowed down in the last few minutes.
And probably a reflection that maybe both sides have a feeling that the game has been won and lost. So Kachia now for the Melbourne Ice will send that one into the corner. Clark sweep on the puck. Pansino with one of his first shifts of the night gets a shot away, and there's a save by DeSalvo. Because Perth, they're coming off, this is the second of a doubleheader.
Yeah, they're certainly not playing like a rusty team that's done that. I mean, I've always sort of thought that the second game for a team like Perth would always be better on a weekend because of the travel issue. Damien Newland, does it any wonder young players feel the only way to get ice time is to go and play abroad? Well, and I would say, you know, there's probably a lot of that around. And it's interesting because, I mean, Melbourne Ice probably previously haven't really had this decision to make. So maybe as a club they haven't really set an expectation internally about how they handle this type of thing.
But I think now, I know they've got the CBR Brave next week, but they've got to play, give the kids plenty of ice time. Like I said, I don't know if there's many other kids that are on the list that play them. Just for the experience and to get a real assessment under, they will be playing the top team next week. How good are they up against the best in the competition?
Wow.
And I think if they do that, and particularly they come and say, we're running the kids, I think the fans will understand if the results don't look pretty. As long as they can see something with the kids.
I can tell you, Cloughy, I completely agree with you, Simeon. He is on fire. But look, I can tell you next weekend I will be covering the Bears-Mustangs game on the Saturday in Sydney, and I think that is for the best. I'm not sure that I want to be back in Melbourne to watch that game.
Well, that's going to shape up. It's a big weekend next weekend for the Perth Thunder. They take on Newcastle at home in a doubleheader, and they probably only need 3 points now to qualify for the finals. Newcastle need all 6, so they're still not secure, the Perth Thunder. Neither of the Mustangs, but be interesting how the Bears come out. They're locked up second place. But the Mustangs have been playing some incredible hockey lately, and if they qualify for the finals, there's a very good chance the Goodall Cup will stay here in Victoria, because I think they can beat anybody the way they played, particularly what we saw yesterday.
Well, folks, you heard it here first. Michael Clough is nailing his colours to the mast on this one.
Hey, they're a chance, legit. The CBR Brave will go in raging favourites, they should, but there are other teams in the league that have nothing to lose.
Rod Johns has gotten to you too, hasn't he?
Yeah, my mate Rod.
But, and funnily enough,
well, here's a chance now for Grand Maison. Shut in then was just a little high. May have caught a defenseman stick on the way through. Todd Graham for the ice. We'll take the blue line.
He's going to come all the way in, but
try to bring a forward then. Now Wong. As Chris Wong at the point. Graham finds Powell. Nice pad save there by DeSalvo.
I'd love to see the Mustangs make it through, because they bring a fantastic crowd to the games with them, and I think the finals really needs, you know, a really good turnout of, you know, really passionate fans. That's what, you know, a final here deserves.
Well, the CBR, you know, there'll be buses galore leaving the ACT coming down to Melbourne, and they'll be making plenty of noise. In fact, you'll hear them once they leave from Canberra all the way here in Melbourne.
The Federal Police will run a motorcade.
So here is a chance out for the Eyes. Corbett on his own. Goes in. DeSalvo denies him. Velez could, well, it was played with a high stick in the end. But Corbett would have been great for him to get the breakaway goal. He's had a fabulous season, but gee, the temptation also, gee, if he had gone for that pass.
Yeah.
The little drop pass there to Velez in the background, I reckon they would have had him beat.
He just got too close, and I think if he was going to take an angle, he needed to cut that probably about, you know, a step earlier if he was going to do that. It just ran out of time.
The face-off will be in the attacking zone now for the Ice. And Perth have it. Now along the half wall. Corbett's tied it up for the Ice. But it's going to be Woodman, the Thunder captain, looking for Lodge, intercepted by Webster. He finds Corbett. Velez there in support, gets a shot away to Salvo with the save.
That was a cute little play.
It was. Dangerous little feat, you might say.
I wouldn't say.
You can't troll me if I troll myself first. So now Velez for the Ice. Happy to play that one along the boards out towards Corbett. Now Lodge, leave it for Simon Kudler. Woodman, stretch pass, looking for Lodge. He couldn't trap it. And that should be an icing call against the Perth Thunder, and it is with less than 4 minutes remaining.
Now it's going to be a very, very long 4 minutes for the Melbourne Ice, I think.
It will be.
They would rather this one be already over by the looks of this bench here.
But I'm liking what I'm seeing with the line they're bringing out. Clark, Chai, Kachia, Pansino.
Yeah, look, it's a step in the right direction. I think they can go a bit further, though.
Oh, absolutely. Now Marcus Wong. Oh. And it's in! Marcus Wong has scored a goal.
There it is.
Oh, gee, even his line mates think that's hilarious.
Well, there you go, Cloughie. Ask and you shall receive. Get some of the young boys out there on the ice and you'll never guess what happens. Hey?
They score.
Damien, that one's for you.
In fact, I'm going to have to go down the score sheet to see if that's Marcus Wong's first goal for the season. But from the point, goes high.
Oh, bang.
The knuckleball succeeds.
Oh, I think Liam Webster's over here asking for his autograph. And I think De Salvo is looking to identify the low-flying aircraft that just came through a moment ago.
And believe it or not, that is actually Marcus Wong's first goal for the season. Assuming it gets credited to him.
Oh, you'd hope so.
So now it's Clark. Finds Pansino. Pansino forced out wide, gets a shot away, and that was not a bad shot. Forced De Salvo into action late to Kachia. He's tied up along the boards. Now Chai lost the puck to Bremner. Been dangerous all weekend. Hasn't been able to capitalise, and then he was sandwiched. Puck's been turned over to Kiros. Oslansky. And he's lost the puck as Oslansky. Pansino. He stripped the puck, rides the check. Jeremy Chai's there, trying to get out towards supporting Clark.
Not quite.
It was chopped off there by Tomic Sack. So Bronte. Nearly caught it like a Slipsfieldman. Now Bronte goes in, little drop pass looking for Clark. Probably should have gone for the shot himself.
Boys are starting to get a little bit excited out there.
So Armstrong. Turn the puck over and it's going to be Cox is going to clear. Cox goes for the knuckleball and Pine Murphy makes the save. Well, gloves that one and we'll leave it now for Fleming. So Fleming puts on the afterburner, trying to work his way through the Perth defence.
Ooh, big hit there from Kudler. He certainly meant that one.
Yeah, Kudler said,
"You shall not pass."
Yep. No, you can't. Passing you shall not.
That was not a bad little jog there out of Fleming, though, I must admit. He had some good speed there.
Yeah,
really took him on, backed himself the whole way through.
Had nothing else on offer, so you might as well.
That's right. Melbourne Ice offensive face-off, won by the Thunder. 2 minutes left to play. Out to the boards there. Bronte puts it back into the corner, but the Thunder look to clear. Intercepted again by Bronte at the blue line, but the Thunder now going to take it out. It's going to be Oslansky. Takes the blue line. He's got a man there right in front of Egg for the back door there. Did not work in Grand Maison. Back into the corner, Melbourne Ice. Fleming takes control, goes back to Graham, and Graham is going to clear this out. Stretch pass, across the blue line in there. Shot on, saved by De Salvo. Fleming there up against Barreau. Fleming looks like he's going to be the victor. Passes it back out to the blue line. And it's going to be Fleming again in front, but he can't take control of that. And the Thunder are going to clear. Cross ice pass over to McMahon. McMahon couldn't hold on to it. Graham is going to take it out behind the Melbourne Ice net. Passes out past the blue line. Melbourne Ice are going to set up. 4 men in. Back there to Powell. Powell puts a shot on. Saved by DeSalvo, and that's going to go up and out of play.
We're good to see Melbourne Ice are at least playing this game out tonight. And it's still reckon for the last minute they really should keep with the kids, because they looked actually pretty impressive. They brought a little bit of energy and excitement.
Mate, we're doing it in the commentary box, so why wouldn't they?
And in fact, they're going for the extra attack. This is a rather bold move with 5-3. So but hey, there's nothing to lose, is there? So Melbourne Ice going with the extra attack. A chance for Perth to score an empty net goal. Melbourne Ice to claw one back. The low slot. It's been turned over.
Trouble here.
Now Bremner looking for Cox. Cox just can't trap. In fact, that was offside.
Melbourne Ice very lucky to get out of jail on that one. That one did not look like it was going to go too well. Pine Murphy's going to stay in. No,
he's going to come out.
He's coming out. There he is.
But what you expect to see is that Melbourne Ice win the face-off. Pine Murphy will make a dash back to the bench.
Some of Zielinski's finest camera work there. And now face-off at the blue line. Cox doesn't win, but Perth Thunder get control anyway. Shot on Pine Murphy, easily saved there. 47 seconds left, and it's the Perth Thunder by 2 goals.
And I think now you probably keep Pine Murphy in there for the remainder of the game, because I just don't see them scoring 2 goals in, 47 seconds?
It would be rather unlikely, but it's going to be Corbett that's going to line up against Cox. Face off, and Cox probably eventually the victor of that one, but it's Melbourne Ice that are going to take control. Stopped out on the blue line, and the Thunder put a shot on there.
And they score!
It's a goal to
Woodman. Jamie Woodman. My initial reaction on that one was that it might have been a hand pass, to be honest, when he trapped that puck, but he brought it down, just strolled in the end,
just
and scored.
Top shelf, straight past him. Clean as a whistle.
Said anything Marcus Wong could do, I can do better.
And there was no traffic in front there either to make that one particularly difficult.
We can see that.
Have a look at that.
There's no defenseman at all.
Yeah. I mean, your closest 3 men there are all Thunder players. I mean, what type of help are you going to expect to get there? That's really poor positioning.
It is, and that is Jamie Woodman's 3rd goal for the season as well. And a 6-3 result in favour of the Perth Thunder. So they got this 1-1 as the Melbourne Ice win the face-off. So Webster is going to go in the corner. Graveman's on, should get there first for the Thunder. To Zielinski. He's going to flip it up high, and it's going to be a foot race. Getting there first will be Kiros. In fact, Webster, just with better positioning, won the puck.
I wouldn't want to take Webster on in that situation.
Now Perth Thunder get out towards Zielinski. An ambitious pass. Icing's being waved off Carpenter. With 7 seconds remaining. One last rush for Melbourne Ice, but that's all said and done. It is a 6-3 win to the Perth Thunder over the Melbourne Ice. That result means the Perth Thunder will leapfrog the Melbourne Mustangs into 3rd position and help solidify their spot in the top 4.
Disappointing loss there by the Melbourne Ice. Disappointing not because it's a loss overall, but disappointing because I think they missed an opportunity here to be able to showcase to their fans where they're trying to go. I mean, realistically, this game wasn't really in, they weren't really in contention to win this game from about 10 minutes into the second period, would you say? Probably even a little bit earlier, the fat lady was singing. So the opportunity was there to put these kids out on the ice, and I just didn't see enough of it tonight, and that's
And
really
the ironic thing is, I know the game was probably dead, and Perth Thunder were probably taking their foot off the accelerator, but when they came on, brought a bit of energy, they actually didn't look too bad, enough to say, you know what, they probably should have played them a bit more. You never know what could happen. But an important win, an important result for the Perth Thunder.
And so, speaking of important wins, so, things just seem to be going from bad to worse for the Ice Dogs. So, second intermission against the Brave, and they find themselves 4-0 down off the back of a 6-game losing streak.
Ooh.
I can only see that going to be a 7-game losing streak, and that is not the form you want to carry in the finals.
They've got the Bears next Friday night, so... That's good news for the Perth Thunder, though.
Well, and look, anything can happen at the Sydney Derby, anything at all. I've been there. The fans are very loud. It fills the place, and there's always some shenanigans that seems to go on. You know,
Shenanigans, you say?
Shenanigans.
Who would have thought the Sydney Ice Dogs would be involved in shenanigans?
The next person that says shenanigans on air gets pistol whipped, Cluffy.
So we're going to wrap things up here from O'Brien Group Arena. It's the Perth Thunder, an important 6-3 win over the Melbourne Eyes. And to wrap things up, like I said, my name's Michael Clough. On behalf of my co-commentator James Morgan, hope you enjoyed today's game, and we'll see you next week for the final 2 games of the season up against the CBR Brave.